It's been too long, but we're back with career mode as I rear lock into the gravel here in Barcelona. I'm just gonna be Lando Norris passing by right about now. So it's been a while since I did career mode because I'm busy doing the other videos. I can't do career mode and other videos at once. I don't have as much free time because I'm not a full-time content creator, and career mode videos also barely get any views. You can see I'm using the Verstappen.com helmet, and that's because, yeah, I forgot to mod in my helmet for this episode. Because I did a helmet swap. Because in the Monaco Grand Prix, I used the white helmet with the Airbus H410 logo on the chin. So yeah, I had to change it for this one. And we set up purple final sector, but Spain, I'm not really good at this first sector in Spain. As you can see, we're P8. So yeah, behind Lewis, and it looks like Alfa Romeo, the Sauber of Valtteri Bottas, is out of qualifying. But yeah, not really one of my best tracks. The final sector, I really like the new remodified final sector because it's actually fast flowing now. And we set another purple final sector, and only 1/10 behind Hamilton. And our first sector is our worst sector. As you can see, we're like a 10th down on Hamilton. So I decided to go for another run because why not? And you can also see the obvious use of flashback because I'm now in P1 and Lewis Hamilton impedes me. Brilliant stuff. So I just abandoned the lap, and I'll just deal with the timing. And we are P5, and you can see Kevin Magnussen out of Nico Hülkenberg, out of qualifying. He was only a 10th away. And I've also got a rear diffuser damage here, so a minor setback. Only took a minute, which is not that bad. So we can do our 2 runs, and it says that it's going to rain. So I gotta go out as soon as possible, right about now. And going around the final corner in our first Q3 run, it was just a banker lap. I didn't really push here, and you can see we're only P8. So now for the push lap now. We're going to go through the entire lap. So going down the main straight, braking right between the 100 and the 50 meter board. And we gain a 10th up already. I think this time is actually slower. My banker lap time was slower than my Q2 time. I think I set an 11.8 in Q2 as we go through this turn. And we are now a 10th up on Lando Norris. But I don't know if Norris is going to battle for pole. And I think one of the Aston Martins is going to cross the line now. It's either Alonso or Sainz. Doesn't matter, they don't improve because one of them is in the pit lane. And we're now 6/10 up on our time. We're going to have to beat Lewis Hamilton's time. I forgot what it was. As we turn on the DRS, all of them cross the line but do not improve apart from Verstappen, who's going to start P6, which is not that much of an improvement. But we have the purple middle sector, so finding a more of a groove now than I was in Q1 and 2. Going through the penultimate corner, now the final corner, shifting down to 6th gear, turning on DRS, and it's pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix, my second pole of the season. The first one was in Azerbaijan, and George Russell, is splitting the both of us, and that's quite a significant gap between me and Lewis, but we will see what will happen in the race tomorrow.
So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and the popular opinion in the paddock is that we never wanted the chicane in the first place. That's now been gone, the final corner is much faster, and at 2.9 miles and 14 turns, we await the Spanish Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. The engineer lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, Zhou, Ocon, Magnussen, Bottas, Albon, Tsunoda, Sargent, Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
And time for the formation lap, another thing that I haven't done in a while, because I always used to do the TV feed formation lap thing because I was lazy. So yeah, just lining up on the grid, yeah, going to the grid spot. What will be the distance? It's going to be 0.5 meters, and waiting for the last driver behind Nico Hülkenberg to line up on the grid. And we're going for the medium to hard, the average one-stop strategy that is plaguing the new F1 games ever since F1 has introduced that you don't need to set your Q2 tire time. But anyways, it's lights out and away we go here in Spain. You got a pretty poor reaction to the start, but we get a much better getaway than George Russell. But Lewis Hamilton, amazing getaway from P3, getting all the slipstream in the world. I'm trying to squeeze him out slightly, and he goes around the outside into turn 1 and into turn 2. You can see there Leclerc now challenging George Russell for the podium places. Not really going to work. Piastri in P5, Norris way down in P8. Russell tries to go down the inside of my car, doesn't really work. Here's Verstappen, who started in P6, going down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Bit of a screen freeze there, that's alright. Leclerc drops behind the P5 now, and going through turn, I forgot, he gets fully ahead of Charles Leclerc. And looking at my onboard now, we're now 7/10 behind of Hamilton, even though he started P3. So a bit of a poor start on my end, and Verstappen actually starts on the soft compound tires. No wonder he's able to gain 3 positions in the beginning and the start lap. And here's Daniel Ricciardo going around the outside of Logan Sargent's Williams, the Toro Rosso guy. Tsunoda in last. He went from McLaren to Toro Rosso, and he's going to go down the inside of Sargent. What are they going to do in the final corner? They're not. Ricciardo maintains position, but Sargent gets a better exit. So does Tsunoda. It's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. Who will come out ahead of this? It's looking to be Daniel Ricciardo going down the middle, but through the corner. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to get Logan Sargent. No, now it's Ricciardo again. I think he squeezes out Tsunoda, and it is Daniel Ricciardo on top of this battle. And I think that is it for lap 1 and 2. No, we're looking up ahead to Alex Albon and Esteban Ocon, and Ocon gets ahead of Albon. But can Albon fight back going into turn 5? Yes, he does. Turn 5. No, turn 6 actually. Wait, no, turn 5. I'm tripping. Now going through turn 7. Yeah, Ocon remains ahead of Alexander Albon. And now here's Max Verstappen with a real chance on George Russell. Now DRS open for the both of them, but Russell is so far behind to get any sort of slipstream. He's now a second behind Verstappen, getting all the slipstream in the world with his ERS on as well. He's going to go round the outside of George Russell going through turn 1 and 2. That should be called the Alonso S, in my opinion, as George Russell now gets ahead of Verstappen. They're still alongside going into turn 4, but Verstappen finally gets fully ahead of George Russell, but he's on the soft tire. He has the better tires on strapped on his car. But Max Verstappen now in P3, and looking on my view, it's time for me to make a move on Lewis Hamilton, going into 6th gear now through the final corner. I braked, but I probably could have either went flat out or lifted off. But we're going to have DRS on Hamilton. We're going to go down the inside, or we're going to fake to the left. He moves to the inside for some reason, because he saw me move my car to the inside, and we get ahead of Lewis Hamilton the long way round. And he's going to try to fight back going into turn 4. Will he be able to do it? Not quite. We're still side by side going to turn 4. We're going to completely squeeze Hamilton going into turn 5 now to get fully ahead of him by the next corner. We're going to look at the replay right now of George Russell getting past again Max Verstappen. because we're in the window that the softs aren't as good as the mediums anymore. They're starting to wear off. Or it could be that Verstappen just couldn't clear Russell out of DRS range. And also here, Lando Norris getting past Checo Perez. Perez having a pretty poor season so far. He had a really great start, but the past few races he hasn't really been on form. And we're going to look up ahead now onto lap number 6. The same lap just later in the lap. Hamilton putting the pressure on me right now. He's going to have DRS open on the back of his Ferrari. Going down the main straight now into turn 1. He gets ahead way before turn 1. He's going to cover off my line. And I'm going to have to deal with it right here. And Verstappen's about to fall behind 1 second of George Russell. And Sergio Perez gets past Lando Norris. Brilliant stuff. We're going to lap number 8, losing the back there slightly at turn 11. But really close to Lewis Hamilton's only lap 8. But there's already more drama than the previous race. But to be fair, the previous race was the Monaco Grand Prix. So obviously it wouldn't be that action-packed. We're 6/10 behind. But I'm going to be draining my battery there slightly on the straight. And we're gaining way more time than Hamilton. I guess he didn't use a single drop of his battery. We're going to go round the outside. I still don't know why he goes to the inside. If he knows, then I'm going to sneak round the outside the long way round. He tries to attack again at turn 3, but it doesn't really work. And we're fully ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And Verstappen actually has the fastest lap of the race. Wow. Leclerc not so far behind either. The top 5 there, separated by 1 second. Now on lap number 12, Lewis Hamilton's going to go down the inside now. I'm going to try and defend that position, and yes, I do. We remain ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but Russell catching behind slightly. But it's not going to really make of anything, as Hamilton now side by side going into turn 4. The British driver still can't get past. Yeah, this is proving to be one of those tracks where track position throughout the race isn't the priority. Track position at the end is the priority. As you can see now later down in the lap, following on to the next lap, Hamilton has DRS again. No dirty air whatsoever, just slipstream from the back of my car. He's going to go down the inside. Seems like he doesn't want to go on the outside. And he gets past, but I'm going to try to put up a defense to keep my position. Pushing him slightly wide. We're still side by side going into turn 3. Now going into turn 4. We're still side by side. I'm going to try to outbrake him. Doesn't really work. And going to turn 4. And then into turn 5. We make a switchback sort of. We're going to go round the outside into turn 5. It doesn't work. Hamilton still maintains ahead. We're going to use our ERS now. We're going to go into turn 7. Ahead or behind Hamilton? It is ahead. And we're no longer side by side. For a moment there we were, but he made contact with my front left. So he's just going to have to wait. But now Hamilton has DRS going into the hairpin. Is he going to push me wide? He's not going to push me wide. And I'm able to maintain being ahead of him. And we are now up in the P1 again. Going on to the DRS zone, so it's a continuous cycle as Charles Leclerc gets past George Russell, and Verstappen is actually picking up the pace again, even though his soft tires are pretty old. Hamilton has DRS on my car again. He's gonna go. No, never mind. We're gonna look at Norris, Perez. What can Norris do here? Not much, but I keep Hamilton behind, so not really anything to see there. And Norris gets ahead of Sergio Perez in his McLaren. George Russell in P4. And look at that, we're going up ahead. Verstappen going down the inside of Hamilton. Well, what will Hamilton do? He gets his elbows out into turn 5. He still maintains ahead of Max Verstappen. Actually, no, that's turn 6. So no, that's turn 6. The one before that was turn 5. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Hamilton maintains ahead of Max Verstappen now in lap 14. Verstappen will come into the pit, so pitting earlier, and that's because he's on the soft compound tires. And we have a battle going on behind right here. Here's Alex Albon going round the outside of Valtteri Bottas. Both of them are going to be alongside on the pit entrance. Albon's ahead, and he crashes into the wall. Alex Albon crashes at the pit lane entry, and the safety car is out. This is going to give Max Verstappen a huge advantage. and Hamilton actually gets ahead of me while Verstappen was in the pits. So you can see here now in the replay cam, he just breezes past my Ferrari going into turn 1. And now looking at the replay cam on Valtteri Bottas' Sauber, you can see there alongside with Albon. And yeah, this can only fit one car. So that was not really smart from Albon. You're going to see that again. He lost the back slightly and just smashed his Williams into the pit entry. That probably would have caused an injury if this was in real life, but it's not. So, fortunately not. Yeah, you can see this pit entry is really skinny. It's not like China, where 2 can fit in 1. And it's time to come into the pits. And I backed up Russell enough. He's now 1.2 behind. But we'll see if this is going to end up like a Baku disaster or not, as it's a double stack from the Mercedes drivers. And Hamilton quickly switches over to the hard compound, and it's another Azerbaijan situation for Lewis Hamilton. He can't exit the pits because Leclerc's ahead, and me, yeah, I lose a lot of positions as well. I think we're going to end up P9 as Max Verstappen gets a huge undercut. Not really a huge one, but he's right behind Lando Norris now behind Russell. So Russell's the one who benefits the most, and it's me and Hamilton who ends up the worst out of everyone. And Carlos Sainz is leading the race, but he didn't pit, so his net position's last at this point, since he didn't come into the box. And yeah, we put ourselves in a terrible situation. Well, it's not really our fault because the safety car came out. So we're gonna look at Carlos Sainz now on lap 16 later on in the lap, and he's gonna come into the pits. He was ahead of the safety car there for a moment, and he's gonna switch over to the hards or the mediums, not so sure. So now, queuing up behind the safety car, behind Leclerc. It's going to be really hard to time this right, but as George Russell goes out right about now, going through the final corner, I'm hanging alongside Charles Leclerc, but since it's a right-hander, it's not a straight. We end up worse off of that. I have my battery open. I'm not going to make anything of that going into turn 1 as Norris attempts a move down the inside of Verstappen into turn 1, even though Verstappen has the medium compound tires. Norris with the hards, and Norris is able to challenge Verstappen as George Russell goes off into the distance. And I'm just following behind Charles Leclerc now, trying to get a move done. He's stuck behind Alonso, so he's going to be really slow going into turn 5, and I find a massive gap, massive dive into turn 5. We get ahead of Charles Leclerc, and you can see there Piastri almost got ahead of Leclerc, but on the exit of the corner, Leclerc ends up in the better position, and now chasing Fernando Alonso, but we're not going to be doing it this lap. And looking later down in the lap, Verstappen and Norris, there's no DRS yet, so it's just going to be purely based on slipstream and whether or not they're using the battery. Verstappen gets past Lando Norris, and now going into turn 1, Norris is using his ERS. Will he get past Verstappen round the outside? Verstappen keeps his position. He's maintaining. He uses his elbows against Lando Norris, and he keeps P2. And here's Lewis Hamilton creeping on behind on the McLaren driver, not really going to find an opening, even though there was a massive one there. And now I'm going to get past Alonso, not quite just yet in the hairpin. Found a massive gap, thought I'd go for it, but he closed the door right when I was about to get alongside him. And it's going to be game on the straight. We have better straight line speed than the Aston Martin, because I think we have the best engine. The Ferrari engine is actually the best one because of the upgrades I brought in. No DRS just yet. It's just getting enabled now on lap number 20. Just draining my ERS here on the straight. I need to get past him as soon as possible. I fake the move to the inside. Now on the outside, we get past Fernando Alonso around the outside. And it's now looking up ahead. Piastri, actually looking behind. Piastri gets ahead of Charles Leclerc. Really unfortunate for Leclerc to be behind Russell during the pit stop in the double stack. If not, he would be leading the race right now. Here's Gasly in P10. Not really able to find anything on the outside of Leclerc. So here's the replay of me overtaking Alonso from Alonso's POV. You can see he actually turned in pretty early there. So I don't know what happened or why he did that. So yeah, and probably just a mistake. And now lap 21, Verstappen has finally caught up to George Russell. And you can also see me in the background. I am now part of this DRS train. Now DRS open for Verstappen. DRS also open for me on Sergio Perez. Will I be able to do anything on Perez as we set the fastest lap of the race at 1:13.9? I go down the outside of Perez. We make a bit of contact. I just cut across his line. Perez went straight on. And Verstappen also gets past George Russell at the same time. So we're going to look at a replay of me getting past Perez. You can see there he held the inside line. And he turned in early again like Alonso. But I just came swooping across. I think that will be damage in real life. But this is the game. That might have been pretty aggressive racing there. But whatever. And you can see now Verstappen getting past George Russell pretty easily. And the Mercedes driver starting to fall behind. As I don't think the Mercedes just yet in this part of the season is going to be that competitive. After fighting for the championship last year, Russell falling back a bit. And he's now 6/10 behind Verstappen. A lot of time lost for George Russell. DRS open for Lando Norris in the McLaren. He's going to go around the outside of George Russell. Yes, he does. Russell tries to fight back into turn 1. Will Norris get ahead of Russell fully ahead? No, he doesn't. Russell still fighting off the McLaren driver. And he's going to be able to keep his position for now. And you can see there, I'm trying to find an opening on Lewis Hamilton. Didn't really find one this lap. Right, no, in this corner, but right here, massive dive bomb into turn 5. Down the inside of Hamilton. That was a really clean move. And we get past our teammate. We're climbing a lot of positions after being screwed over in the pit stops. So I was behind in a double stack. And now here's Lando Norris, DRS on George Russell. Russell has no DRS to defend himself. And yeah, Norris just swoops past. And I'm also going to get in the mix. You can see there, stuck behind Norris going into turn 1. I tried to overtake Norris as well. Doesn't really work. I'm fighting off the Mercedes of George Russell now. We've lost some ground to Norris. And I'm going to get ahead of George Russell. We're going to go into turn 4. Russell outbrakes me, but I get the faster exit on the corner, and I get ahead of the Mercedes driver, and I'm now up into P3. Really nice racing, really close racing in fact. And now on lap number 26, here's Lewis Hamilton trying to get past George Russell. He uses his battery, turns it off now, and he goes down the inside. Pretty easier said than done move, but Russell brakes super late there, and he's able to keep Lewis at bay. And going through turn 3 now, Lewis not able to find anything, but he's going to find the outside of Russell. He's going to outbrake him into turn 3. And no, Russell using his elbows, pushing Hamilton slightly wide, but Hamilton pushes Russell wide as well. Going into turn 5, and no, he's still not fully ahead of Russell. Russell's still alongside Lewis, but will Hamilton be able to be fully ahead of Russell here? No. Russell maintains his lead on Lewis Hamilton after that amazing sequence there. Hamilton struggling a bit. Hamilton is going to go around the outside on the hairpin. He gets fully ahead of Russell right before the hairpin, and that is it for this. Hamilton fully ahead of George Russell. And here's Russell now fighting back on Hamilton. Hamilton not really having a great pace this race. And he's just going to go down the inside. Easier, very easy move. Easier done than said. But Russell fighting Lewis Hamilton, elbows out. Yes, he still maintains ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton right now isn't able to find any opening on George Russell. He's going to have to fend off Fernando Alonso. So yeah, George Russell able to keep Hamilton at bay. Now on lap number 28, DRS open on Lando Norris. Will I be able to get into P2 to officially fight for the win? I'm gonna try going around the outside of Norris. Why does Norris go way more on the inside? We lock wheels there for a bit, but I don't get why Norris tried to go defend the inside line, even though I'm gonna go round the outside. But here we go. George Russell got Hamilton passes Russell, my bad. And now the chase is on to Max Verstappen. That sequence confused me, because I was for sure going to get Norris around the outside, but he was continuing to turn right. to hold the inside line. I don't get it. But right now, I'm about to get past Max Verstappen, DRS open, using the battery as well, going to lap number 31. What will we be able to do? Verstappen just leaves the outside completely open for me. That almost makes me think that he let me by on purpose. I don't know why he didn't hold any defense through there, or just try to get me to go on the inside. But we're ahead of Max Verstappen and going on to lap 31. Again, DRS on the straight before the hairpin. I'm gonna purposely go slow here. We're gonna ever so slightly just push Verstappen right outside of track limits. I didn't mean to make contact with him. I'm gonna go wide here, and I'm gonna let him by so I can have DRS on the main straight. You know, tactics. Track position isn't the most important thing here in Barcelona, and we're gonna have DRS on Max Verstappen on this straight here. What will we be able to do? We're just gonna cruise. We're just gonna cruise past Max Verstappen, and Norris actually has a decent chance on Max as he goes round the outside of Max. No, he doesn't. Verstappen still holding Norris behind, and he gets ahead of Norris, so Norris not able to get past Verstappen when the opportunity arose, and we're back in the lead after purposely letting him by so that I can have the DRS. And here's George Russell just cruising on the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton, after having a pretty decent race in the top, being in the top in the podium places majority, but falling back to George Russell. And here we go on lap 33. Verstappen will have the final charge on me on the final DRS zone. I'm gonna go slowly here. I'm gonna push him wide again, and Norris able to go down the inside, attempts it, is not able to make anything of it. He actually makes contact with the side pod of Max Verstappen, but we're gonna cross the line. We're gonna go on the final corner now, and we're gonna cross the line for the first win of the season.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friends. Well done.
A real team effort then, which has paid off in spades. A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So that was a fun race. I actually at the time, I didn't think I was going to win that race after exiting in P9 on the pit lane. I thought Verstappen was going to fly away, but he ended up being stuck behind Russell for a while. So that meant I had a chance at winning, and when I did, by very minuscule amount, only 0.4 of a second. And I had a pretty good fight with Norris and Max as well. And looking down here, Carlos Sainz and Zhou Guanyu actually DNF as well, and Bottas gets a 5-second penalty. I don't know what for. Maybe it's for pushing Albon in the wall, even though that was probably Albon's fault. Nico Hülkenberg is still yet to score points this season, sadly. You can see now looking in the standings, we're 46 points away, but it's still possible to win the championship. So I'm not going to doubt that yet. And looking down, Hülkenberg and Ocon actually still don't have any points. So that will do it for today's video. It's been a minute since I made a career mode video. It might also take 3 weeks to do the next race, the Canadian Grand Prix, and I might even finish this career mode when F1 24 is well into its life cycle. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.